Hello, guys, and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. We are doing our Premier League predictions for game week 7. We really are getting through them this season, aren't we? First week of September, already game week 7. Keep it coming. I absolutely love it. Guys, do us a favour, hit that like button. Please subscribe if you are new here. And without wasting much time, let's dive right in. Who have we got first? Fulham versus Chelsea. I will give you a fact about this game. Only once have Fulham beaten Chelsea in the last 30 top flight games. They've met 30 times. Fulham have won once, but Fulham fans, that did come at home. So could it be a good omen for you? Well, to be honest, with Chelsea's form at the moment, you just do not know. Very lucky against West Ham were Chelsea. That goal shouldn't have been disallowed. West Ham have had some horrid luck with VAR, and we'll come on to them later. But if Fulham are ever going to beat Chelsea in a Premier League season, not only have Fulham started well, Chelsea haven't. So, I mean, I should really be giving Fulham more credit here, but it's Chelsea at the end of the day. I think I'm just going to give it Chelsea. Sorry, Fulham. I think you'll give them a good game. I think Mitrovic scores, but I'm going to give it Chelsea. I'm going to say 2-1 to the away side. Next up is Bournemouth versus Brighton. For Bournemouth, I mean, what a week or two it's been. You lose 9-0 to Liverpool. The very next game, 3 days later, I think it was, you're at home, Wolves come. Wolves don't score many goals, don't get me wrong, but you managed to get a 0-0 draw at home. Then last weekend, you're 2-0 down at Forest at half time. You win the game 3-2. It's unbelievable. The character that you've shown since that 9-0 hammering, it can go one of two ways, can't it? You could just lose the next 5 or 6 because your confidence is shot, or you bounce back. And when you've taken 4 points from an available 6 after losing 9-0, it's unbelievable. For Brighton, still fourth, going well. It's just unbelievable what they're doing, what Potter's doing. They work so hard, and this stat proves it. Pascal Gross has ran more than any other player this season. It's really, really remarkable. They're so well organised. They work for each other, and they've also got the quality to back it up. I am going to go for Brighton. I think if Bournemouth go 2-0 down against Brighton, they're not going to claw it back like they did at Forest. So I'm going to give it Brighton. I think they'll get the win. I think it'll be pretty convincing. I'm going to say 3-0 or 3-1. I'm going to go 3-0 to the visitors. Next up is Leicester versus Villa. Two managers that are really under pressure. After last week's result for Steven Gerrard, less so than Rodgers, you would say. Unbelievable result against City. You could argue, well, I say you could argue, no, they should have won that game. That goal should not have been disallowed. But of course, Man City are a top 6 side, so they are going to get that decision. For Leicester, it's just, I'm not a Leicester fan, so I don't know what the biggest problem is there. You could say, yes, losing, some of your best players, Fofana being one of them, not really bringing anyone in, but they've still got a very good team. They do have a good team. Daka, Justin, Vardy, Tillemans. Indeed, they've got players. It's just not working. I think if Brendan loses this one, I think they're gone. And I've just got a sneaky feeling about Villa. I think they'll be high on confidence. I'm going to say 2-1 to the away side. Every game so far, I've given it the away team win. Will that change now? Because we're coming on to Liverpool versus Wolves. For Wolves, they've got the best defence in the Premier League. Can you believe it? 6 games in, they've conceded 4 goals. Well, I say we. I am a Wolves fan if you don't know. 4 goals in 6 games. If we could score, if we could put the ball in the back of the onion bag, we'd win the league by 20 points. But we just do not want to score. For Liverpool, a draw against Everton at Goodison Park. In seasons gone by, you'd say, do you know what? Not a bad result. But with the season that they've had so far, the start of the season, it's really, really not good. They do have a good record against Wolves. That is the one thing that I will mention. Wolves and Liverpool famously played on the last game of last season. Liverpool were going for the title against City. Neto scored in the opening minute, I think it was, or 2 minutes. I think it was about 50 seconds. Neto scored for Wolves, and Liverpool didn't get back into it until about the 70th minute. I think 65, 70th minute. So I think Wolves can cause them problems, but I've got to give it Liverpool, and I'm going to say 2-0 to the home side. Wolves fans, don't crucify me. Next up is Southampton versus Brentford. Southampton going very, very well. 12th in the league on 7 points after 6 games. I think they'd have taken that at the start of the season, and their new signings are doing well. Given more time, I think you might see Southampton, if they don't climb the table a little bit, I think you'll see them staying around about that 11th, 12th, 13th position. Don't really see a problem for Southampton this season in terms of a relegation battle. For Brentford, Ivan Toney is just an absolute animal at the moment, isn't he? All types of goals at the weekend, just unbelievable. Outside the box, penalty, 18 out of 18 now. It's just, yeah, what can you say about him? He's got to be on the plane for Qatar, you would say. They've put 5 past Leeds who have played well this season. My head's saying a draw, but I want to go Brentford. Southampton, I think, will be decent at home this season. I really do believe that. I'm going to go for a draw, and I think there'll be goals. I'm going to say 2-2 between Southampton and Brentford. Next up is arguably the biggest game of the weekend. In my opinion, it absolutely is Man City versus Spurs. We mentioned City earlier when talking about Villa. They got that draw at Villa Park. Haaland is just on fire. 2 more goals yesterday in the Champions League as well. He could genuinely score 50 goals in all competitions this year, maybe more. For Spurs, it's an odd one because they're doing well, but they're not playing well. I still don't believe they've got out of third gear. And I said this 2 or 3 weeks ago on like the game week 3 or 4 predictions. When they do hit fourth or fifth gear, they're going to start blowing teams away. Can they start that this week? Can they get a result against City? Because you think if they beat City, they would have had to have put in a big performance, especially at the Etihad. Etihad, I should say. Again, just like the last game, I wanted to go Brentford, but went for a draw. I want to go for Spurs, but it's Haaland, it's De Bruyne, it's Diaz, it's Cancelo, it's Man City. I think I'm going to bottle it and go for a draw. I think there'll be goals. I think there will be goals. 2-2 between Man City and Spurs. Coming on to a game that I don't think will be a draw: Arsenal versus Everton. Arsenal can take a lot of satisfaction from their result at Manchester United at Old Trafford. When I say satisfaction in the result, I actually mean the performance. The result on paper doesn't look great. You look at that from afar, you think United pumped Arsenal. They didn't. I think for once in many, many years, Arsenal fans can leave Old Trafford where they have an abysmal record, but they can say, do you know what? We were the dominant team. We're probably the better team. We just didn't take our chances, and Manchester United did. For Everton, no win this season. No win this season. Yes, they are accumulating the draws, and that's fair enough, but that's not going to keep you up. Drawing every Premier League game doesn't guarantee you safety. It may do, but I don't think they're going to draw every Premier League game. And this is the problem for Everton. These are their next 5 fixtures: Arsenal, West Ham, Southampton, Manchester United, and then Spurs. It's not it's not out of reality for Everton to not have a win after 11 games. Can Arsenal beat them? Yes, and probably should. Can West Ham beat Everton or at least draw? Yeah, of course they can. Southampton, can they beat or get a result against Everton? I think they can. Manchester United and Spurs, of course they can. So Everton may not get a win after 11 Premier League games, and that would really, really put them in a dangerous position. I've got to go for Arsenal. I think they'll want to bounce back after that result at Old Trafford, and I'm going to say 2-0 to the home side. I think Arsenal will be very, very good at the Emirates this season. Next up is West Ham versus Newcastle. West Ham's luck with VAR, it's truly unbelievable. Whether it's in Europe or whether it's in the Premier League, disgusting decision in the last game against Chelsea. Again, West Ham aren't a top 6 side, so they're not going to get the decision. For Newcastle, they've only lost 1 game this season, but they've drawn 4. I think a lot of Newcastle fans might be a little bit disappointed with how the season's gone so far. They've finally got a team that they can cheer on. They've got players that they like, but they would probably think that they should probably have an extra 2, 3, 4 points on the board than they currently have. This will be an even game. I don't think there'll be many goals in this game, and I'm going to go for a home win. I just think West Ham are going to come with a vengeance after another shocking VAR decision. We saw Declan Rice posting online and literally not hiding his emotions at all. We've seen the PGMOL have come out and taken ownership of the West Ham VAR decision that went against them, and the Villa one, and said, yeah, we hold our hands up, that was our fault, blah, blah, blah. But I think they've done that 10, 12 times a season over the last couple of years, 3 years. They apologise every 3 or 4 game weeks to a team. Sort it out. It's just abysmal. But I am going to go for West Ham 1-0. I do apologise if you can hear the dog barking, by the way. There's nothing I can do. I've already started the video. I'm not stopping it now. Next up is Palace versus Manchester United. And for Palace, you've really got to hope Zaha's playing. I think he's got a little bit of a knock, maybe over the last couple of weeks. I keep seeing it on the FPL app anyway. And after seeing a few Palace fans online saying he doesn't quite look himself, but he's still doing the business. He's getting the goals. For Manchester United, they really are starting to kick in now. That Brighton result, abysmal. That Brentford game, one of the worst for them in Premier League history. But they're now starting to win games. They've beaten Liverpool. They've beaten Arsenal with a win in between that. They're moving in the right direction. Ten Hag has tried to move, well, he's had to move away from what he wanted to do. We saw him against Brighton and Brentford, trying to pass out from the back with the centre-backs. Can't be done with Harry Maguire, can't be done with De Gea. Harry Maguire's now on the bench. They've kept De Gea, but they're now not playing it from the back as much. They're now not having as much possession as they were for the first 2 or 3 games. They're now playing to their strengths, and they're getting results. For that reason, I think I'm going to go United. Not many top 6 sides want to go to Selhurst Park. I believe every season when a top 6 team gets their fixtures, I think they do see and look out for Selhurst Park, because any Palace can beat anyone at Selhurst Park. I really do believe that. But I am going to go for United. I think there'll be goals, and I'm going to say 2-1 to the away side. Last but not least is Leeds versus Forest. I will start on the away side, and Forest, you're 2-0 up against another relegation candidate in Bournemouth at half time. What was said? What did you do? Can't imagine Cooper said, go out there and blow this lead, take your foot off the gas. They were just a shambles, giving the ball away, no desire. They were pulling out of tackles, I saw multiple times, just not good enough. Maybe it's a bit of an experience. It's been so long. A lot of their players haven't played in the Premier League before. They've got a handful, but not a lot, you would have to say. I just think maybe they thought they'd won the game. That's my perspective. For Leeds, they're doing what they promise they'll do every single season. You get what it says on the tin with Leeds. 6 games in the Premier League so far. They've scored 10. They've conceded 10. 20 goals in 6 games. It's just entertainment. And it's very fun. It's very hip. It's very, fashionable to hate Leeds, but you can't say that they're not good to watch. They really, really are. I think that game at the weekend for Forest, I don't think they bounce back from that straight away. How Bournemouth did against Liverpool, to draw against Wolves and to beat Forest. I think that one might linger, especially at Ellen Road, because Leeds have been on a bit of a downward spiral over the past 2 or 3 games, not really doing well compared to their incredible start at the start of the season, where they took 7 points from 9 games. I think the Ellen Road crowd are really going to be behind them. They're going to be on the backs of the Nottingham Forest players. And for that reason, I think they're going to win. I think there'll be goals because Leeds are involved. Forest are also involved in a lot of goals this season. And I'm going to say 3-1 to Leeds United. Guys, do me a favour. Let me know in the comments, first of all, which games I've got absolutely bang on. Let me know which ones I've got an absolute howler, a prediction for. And also, if you haven't yet, but you have made it this far, please like, please subscribe. And if you're feeling extra special, if the sun's shining and you're in a good mood, go one further. Share the video online. Guys, we'll see you over the weekend for another video, maybe a live. But in the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.